Imagine a star footballer at the pinnacle of his career, his skills unmatched, his fame widespread. Then, in a twist of fate, he makes a transfer. A decision meant to catapult him to greater heights, but instead, it sends him spiraling into a vortex of disappointment and regret. This isn't a tale of triumph, but a stark warning of how one choice can drastically alter a player's career trajectory. The murky waters of football transfers where dreams can morph into nightmares. This is an exploration into the lives of players who, at their zenith, made transfers that promised glory but delivered disaster. From Eden Hazard's move to Real Madrid to Philippe Coutinho's switch to Barcelona, we're uncovering the transfers that didn't just stumble, but completely capsized careers. Remember, in the world of football, all that glitters is not always gold. Eden Hazard, the Belgian maestro who left Chelsea for Real Madrid in 2019. At Chelsea, Hazard was a force to be reckoned with, dazzling fans with his skill, speed, and creativity. His transfer to Real Madrid was one of the most anticipated moves, with a whopping €100 million price tag attached to it. However, the dream move quickly turned into a nightmare. Hazard's time at Madrid has been marred by injuries, lackluster performances, and criticism from fans and media alike. Once considered one of the best in the world, Hazard's star has dimmed considerably at Madrid. Despite glimpses of his former brilliance, the Belgian's future at the club remains uncertain. Will he regain his form and silence his critics? Only time will tell. We now turn our attention to another star who found himself in a similar predicament, Philippe Coutinho. Once the darling of Anfield, Coutinho's move from Liverpool to Barcelona in 2018 was supposed to be the next big step in his career. But, as fate would have it, the Brazilian maestro's journey took a different turn. At Liverpool, Coutinho was a force to be reckoned with, his creativity and flair making him a fan favorite. But his dream move to Barcelona turned into a nightmare. The Camp Nou's high expectations weighed heavily on him, and a series of injuries didn't help either. His inability to replicate his Liverpool form led to widespread criticism and disappointment. In a bid to revive his career, Coutinho was loaned to Bayern Munich, but even the German giants couldn't rekindle his old spark. As of 2023, Coutinho finds himself in a precarious situation, with his future at Barcelona uncertain. From the heights of Anfield, we now turn our attention to another Liverpool legend who took a tumble after a high-profile transfer. Yes, we're talking about Fernando Torres, the Spanish striker who once had the world at his feet. Torres, known as El Niño, was a force to be reckoned with at Liverpool, scoring goals for fun and terrorizing defenses with his blistering pace and lethal finishing. However, his £50 million move to Chelsea in 2011 marked the beginning of a downward spiral. The expectations were sky high, but Torres struggled to replicate his Liverpool form at Stamford Bridge. Injuries plagued him, and his confidence seemed to wane with each passing game. Despite winning the FA Cup, UEFA Champions League, and UEFA Europa League with Chelsea, his goal-scoring rate and performances drastically declined. A loan spell at AC Milan did little to revive his career, and even a return to his boyhood club Atletico Madrid couldn't bring back the old Torres. Today, as we look back at his career, it's hard not to wonder what might have been if Torres had stayed at Liverpool. Alexis Sanchez, a superstar at Arsenal, Sanchez was a force to be reckoned with. His speed, agility, and scoring prowess making him one of the most feared attackers in the Premier League. But when he made the switch to Manchester United in 2018, things took a turn for the worse. Injuries and a lack of form saw Sanchez struggle to find his footing at Old Trafford. His confidence seemed to wane with each passing game, and the once vibrant player was a shadow of his former self. The fans and media were ruthless, their criticism stinging as Sanchez failed to meet the high expectations set for him. A loan spell at Inter Milan did little to revive his career, and he eventually returned to Manchester United, where he continued to underperform. Today, Sanchez's future remains uncertain, a stark contrast to the bright career he once had at Arsenal. We now turn our gaze to a transfer that left fans and pundits alike scratching their heads. Enter stage right, the Belarusian maestro, Alexandre Lacazette. A wizard with the ball at his feet, Lacazette was a key figure in Arsenal's midfield. His nimble footwork and creative prowess earning him a cult following at the Emirates. In 2008, Barcelona came calling, and Hieb, lured by the allure of the Catalan giants, made the switch. But the Camp Nou proved to be a stage too grand for the Belarusian. Struggling to break into a star-studded lineup, Hieb found himself sidelined, his once promising career now a shadow of its former self. Loans to Stuttgart, Birmingham, and Wolfsburg followed, but the magic was gone. Hieb himself admitted in later years that leaving Arsenal was a mistake. From the glitz of the Premier League to the obscurity of the Brazilian highlands, the tale of Denilson's career is a roller coaster ride. After lighting up the pitch for Sao Paulo, Denilson was snapped up by Real Betis in 1998 for a record-breaking £21.5 million. The world was at his feet, but the dream quickly turned into a nightmare. In Spain, Denilson was expected to be the next big thing, a player who would take La Liga by storm, but the reality was far from it. The pressure of the price tag weighed heavily on him, and his performances on the pitch suffered. Betis, who had hoped to become a contender in Spain, were relegated in Denilson's second season, and the Brazilian was hastily loaned to Flamengo. His career never really recovered from that blow. A brief spell in France with Bordeaux was followed by stints in Saudi Arabia, the United States, and even Vietnam. But the magic was gone. Let's talk about David Bellion, a name that might not ring a bell to the newer generation of football fans. Bellion was a young, promising French striker who had shown immense potential at Sunderland. His speed and agility caught the eye of none other than Sir Alex Ferguson, the legendary manager of Manchester United. In 2003, Bellion made the move to Old Trafford, signing a 4-year deal. The expectations were high, and the stage was set for Bellion to shine. However, the dream move turned into a nightmare. Bellion struggled to find his footing in the star-studded United squad. His performances were far from the level he had shown at Sunderland, and he quickly fell out of favor. The move to one of the biggest clubs in the world, instead of propelling his career to new heights, ended up stalling it. This time, we're talking about Radamel Falcao, a name that once sent shivers down the spines of defenders across Europe. Falcao, also known as El Tigre, was a goal-scoring machine at Atletico Madrid, where he netted 52 goals in just 68 appearances. His lethal finishing and predatory instincts in front of goal made him one of the most sought-after strikers in the world. Then, in 2013, he made a move that would drastically alter the trajectory of his career. He signed for newly promoted League One side Monaco for a record €60 million. The move to Monaco was controversial, to say the least. Falcao was at the peak of his powers and many expected him to join a top European club. Instead, he chose Monaco, a team that had just gained promotion to League One. The transfer didn't pan out as expected. An ACL injury in his debut season sidelined him for 6 months, and he was never quite the same player after that. Falcao's time at Monaco was marred by injuries and loan spells at Manchester United and Chelsea, where he failed to impress. His career, once so promising, had taken a turn for the worse. Despite a brief resurgence at Monaco and a move to Galatasaray, Falcao's career never reached the heights it once promised. From the dizzying heights of success to the crushing lows of disappointment, these tales remind us of the unpredictable nature of football. Transfers can make or break careers, and these players learned that the hard way. Until next time, keep loving football.